From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
I think next year, unfortunately, we're going to see a lot of foreclosures.
Fallout from the pandemic, thousands of Hoosiers are at risk of being evicted or being foreclosed upon. We're following their stories and finding out what can be done to keep a roof over their heads. And we are dealing with another single-day record in additional COVID-19 cases in Indiana. But Marion County seems to be doing better than much of the state. The mayor's message tonight about Halloween in Indianapolis.
Temperatures nearly 30 degrees cooler than yesterday at this time, and the coldest air is yet to arrive. Details on a freeze warning ahead.
Good evening on this Thursday. I'm Amanda Starrentino. WRTV Investigates has been following an issue impacting tens of thousands of Hoosiers. As many people have lost jobs and sources of income, they are now at risk of losing their homes. Our Stephanie Wade first introduced us to the people facing the threat of eviction earlier this week. Now we hear from the property owners impacted as well.
With thousands of people behind on rent because of COVID, landlords and property managers are now also behind on their mortgages, putting the very homes that renters live in at risk of foreclosure. What are the repercussions of all of this?
At the end of the day, we're going to get back into the '08 housing debacle. I mean, it was tough.
The owner of Remax Realty Services, which manages about 50 properties for homeowners, says we could soon find ourselves in a housing crisis.
They keep coming to us saying, you've got to get that rent collected. And, we're going back to them saying, because of the moratorium, our hands are tied.
Chris Scholhoff says since the CDC issued a national moratorium on evictions beginning September 4th, they're unable to do anything, while some tenants have just stopped paying rent. To you, how do you see the CDC moratorium?
I think it's frustrating.
The landlord or homeowner out the cash they normally collect to pay for their mortgage. What position is that putting landlords and property owners in?
That's the problem. Our hands are tied, so how's that rent going to be paid?
Scholhoff says he's compassionate with renters and works with them.
Where we have had, for example, a tenant call me and say, look, I'm in the janitorial arena taking care of churches, and unfortunately the churches aren't having congregations, so therefore the churches are laying us off. In that case, I reached out actually to contacts within my sphere and found her opportunities.
So you're trying?
I'm trying to help, and she's very thankful.
But on the other hand,
we do have one tenant that has not lost their job, but took advantage of the system or has taken advantage of the system and stopped paying in February.
They're now taking that tenant to court next month. Someone's got to pay.
Right.
Other landlords we've seen are trying to evict tenants not paying rent through what's called a holdover eviction.
There is a loophole, if you will, that's the holdover moratorium.
In the case where someone's lease has expired and the CDC moratorium no longer protects them. Have you looked into that?
I have not.
As the federal protection expires come January, Scholhoff fears
all of a sudden we're going to have foreclosures out there, and that's what I'm concerned about.
Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
And this property manager, like the Indiana Apartment Association, is calling on the government to issue more rental assistance or perhaps loans to landlords to get through this. And if not, they both fear landlords will be forced to foreclose on their properties. The sun is great and usually uplifts our spirits, but for our lawns, this is a sight for sore eyes. This is video of rain falling in Fishers, a more significant rain than we've seen in some time. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory is here with another developing weather story he's tracking right now. Kevin, I know you've been looking forward to all this rain.
Yeah, I love to listen to the rain as well as see it finally. The rainfall amounts, they're modest, but not by our recent standards, almost 1/4 of an inch in Muncie. And finally, more than dust in your rain gauge in Indianapolis, 0.18 of an inch officially. Lafayette, just 0.05. Let's talk about the next item on the menu. As the rain pulls away from southeast Indiana, skies are clearing from the northwest. That sets the stage for cold temperatures. We're at 49 in Indy now, 52 in Kokomo. What happens tonight? Skies clear. The wind calms down, the air is dry. That sets the stage for freezing temperatures in the morning, anywhere from 30 to just above the freezing mark in the downtown area of Indianapolis, but all the suburbs should see temperatures at the freezing mark or a little below. We'll talk about what happens beyond Friday coming up.
COVID-19 is not slowing down yet. Another single-day record for additional coronavirus cases in Indiana. Today, the State Department of Health reports 1,962 additional COVID-19 cases. Since the pandemic began, 141,212 people in Indiana have been diagnosed with the coronavirus. The Department of Health also confirms 23 additional deaths. A total of 3,623 Hoosiers have died with the coronavirus. For further perspective on the increase of coronavirus cases, 9.3% of all individuals tested for COVID-19 in Indiana have tested positive for the virus. Exactly 1 month ago, there was a positivity rate of 8.5%. And Governor Eric Holcomb's office has announced that he has tested negative for the coronavirus. This comes a day after Indiana State Health Director Dr. Christina Box publicly announced that she has COVID-19. And a reminder, Governor Holcomb said yesterday we are staying in stage 5 of Indiana's reopening plan despite the growing coronavirus numbers. However, the mask mandate will stay in effect until at least November 14th. Today, Democratic gubernatorial candidate Dr. Woody Myers says he believes staying in stage 5 is a mistake.
This is further evidence that moving us to stage 5, the most open stage, was wrong. Indiana should immediately return to stage 4 with capacity limits in force in bars and restaurants. And if there's not significant improvement, we move back to number 3.
Myers trails Holcomb in both polling and in fundraising for the governor's race. Holcomb, Myers, and Libertarian candidate Donald Rainwater are scheduled to hold the first of 2 debates on Monday. In Marion County, new COVID-19 numbers are lower than some areas of the state. Remember, Marion County never entered stage 5 of reopening like most of Indiana. And tonight, Mayor Joe Hogsett says Indianapolis and Marion County will keep the current restrictions in place. The health department won't go to stage 5 or put any stricter requirements on residents at this time. But Hogsett does have a message about Halloween.
I want to reiterate, especially to young people, that the Marion County Public Health Department is recommending residents avoid face-to-face trick-or-treating, avoid haunted houses and indoor parties.
Because the Marion County Health Department is discouraging trick-or-treating, there will not be set hours for those participating in safe activities. But IMPD will schedule extra patrols in neighborhoods from 6 to 8 p.m. on Halloween night. And we have a special page on our website, WRTV.com, to help you get through this pandemic. We'll help you rebound with financial tips, what you should gather for Thanksgiving, the guidelines for Halloween, and what you need to do to stay healthy and happy. Just go to WRTV.com/coronavirus. A huge increase in unemployment claims in Indiana, but there is likely a unique reason behind that. The Department of Labor says more than 28,000 Hoosiers applied for regular unemployment benefits during the week ending October 10th. The week before that, a little more than 10,000 people in Indiana filed first-time unemployment claims. That is a dramatic increase, but the state says the increase may have to do with timing. Scott Olson with the Department of Workforce Development sent us a statement. He says the increase, quote, is likely elevated due to a requirement that claimants refile initial claims to continue on federal benefit programs. Our Hiring Hoosiers initiative continues to find companies who are looking for new employees. Learn more about these jobs on hiringhoosiers.com and check out the job board there too. And through the Rebound Indiana, we are committed to showing you how people are working together to make it through and bounce back from the impacts of the pandemic. One agency working to do that is the Indy Black Chamber of Commerce. They just opened up a new co-working space downtown called Chamber 465. Our WRTV's Megan Singh-Torm found out how it is already helping business owners.
All set up with her laptop, paperwork, and phone. Small business owner Carla Nolan is ready to work. She runs Angels of Hope Home Care Agency, and she's managed to grow her business even during a pandemic.
I don't know how I'm doing it, but I'm doing it because it's my passion.
Now she's hoping to increase the number of people she's able to help through her business as she uses this space as a new office.
I've met so many people since I've been here. So I believe networking is a big part of, just like marketing and networking is a big part of it.
In addition to networking and providing all the office tools business owners need, like Wi-Fi and printers, they also plan to host classes and workshops.
This is an opportunity for all minority businesses, all businesses, period, to come together to find the resources that they need and the support that they need. Especially during COVID, we're losing so many businesses.
Leaders with the chamber say while opening a co-working space during a pandemic may seem odd, they're taking extra measures to keep people safe, like adding these partitions between work areas. And they say the benefits of a spot like this are needed more now than ever.
Sometimes when you have a small business, you feel alone when you're doing your work. You feel like nobody understands your plight. This is a way for you to come together, share the issues that you have, and there'll be people here that may be able to resolve some of your problems.
Nolan says it's an affordable option, and the benefits are worth every penny.
Everyone is kind of, pulling out all their financial resources that they can. So to be able to have this small amount doesn't even compare to the networking and the people that you'll see in all of the rooms, the usage.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
The Indy Black Chamber is offering these workstations to business owners for free until the end of the year. Alzheimer's disease is a devastating illness and families should never have to face it alone. Tonight, the resource is available to make sure you have the help you need. Pilots with a passion and a purpose, how one local group of aircraft enthusiasts is giving back to the community by putting on a show in the sky. We're taking off with a front seat view you won't want to miss. Democracy 2020, we are now learning that about 7% of all Hoosiers have already voted in the 2020 presidential election. Just take a look at this long early voting line. Yet again today at the City County building, more than 467,900 people in Indiana have already voted either in person or through mail-in ballots. This is according to numbers from the Secretary of State's office compiled by the U.S. Elections Project. That total number of votes cast so far is equal to nearly 17% of the final presidential vote in Indiana in 2016. You have until November 2nd to vote early. A reminder, Election Day is November 3rd. And to see all of the voting deadlines and to learn more about the candidates who will appear on your ballot, just go to WRTV.com/election 2020. This state is home to 110,000 Hoosiers living with Alzheimer's disease and 342,000 unpaid Indiana caregivers. There are a lot of resources right here in Indiana ready to help make sure families don't take this journey alone, even amid a pandemic. Social engagement is critical for people in any stage of Alzheimer's disease. And the Alzheimer's Association Greater Indiana Chapter quickly switched their resources over to a virtual environment to continue serving Hoosier families when COVID hit. Their mission is to provide and enhance care and support for all affected by the disease and to reduce the risks of dementia through the promotion of brain health. These resources are not just for the patient, but for the caregiver as well. The support on both sides is vital for families.
So many people lost the ability to go to an adult day center, and that gives that caregiver just an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of respite throughout the day. Maybe they can do their grocery shopping, maybe they get their nails done, whatever it is that they can do for themselves. They lost that. So we knew that we had to ramp up efforts to provide something, even in a virtual environment, that might not have quite the same level of impact that we would hope for in an in-person environment.
Coming up tonight on the news at 11, a Fishers couple shares their story about taking on a dementia diagnosis and the challenges facing them now after 50 years of marriage. Plus, find out about an opportunity to learn about all the available resources right here in Central Indiana to help you and your family make the tough decisions. And for support during COVID-19, you can call the Alzheimer's Association free 24/7 helpline, register for a virtual program or support group, and access their online resources. We have that info up on our website right now at WRTV.com. Kevin.
Amanda, our rain today is a start, but let me just say there are cracks developing in our very dry pattern. Kyle Mounts will have hope for us. He'll give an in-depth look here at our rainfall potential moving forward. We had 1/4 of an inch or less across much of central Indiana during the day today. 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. That is when we have the freeze warning in effect. The sky is clear and that rain moves out. We'll only recover into the 50s during the day tomorrow. Temperatures over the weekend bounce back after a cold start Saturday. There's your long line of rain from Buffalo, New York, and Pittsburgh all the way down to the southwest and slicing through extreme southeastern Indiana. Temperatures have bounced back a little bit northwest of Indy. Indy sits at 49 now, but we'll all be united with temperatures in the lower 30s overnight. Notice what happened. Saturday morning still cold, but then a big jump for Sunday as temperatures will be back into the upper 40s for overnight lows. Tomorrow morning, anywhere from 30 to about 33 degrees. Dick Crum taught me this. If you're covering any sensitive plants tonight, don't forget to uncover those tomorrow. Otherwise, when we heat back up, you'll burn them up. Temperatures around 33 downtown Indy, but colder in the surrounding areas. As you look at the temperature progress tomorrow, by the time we're pushing noon, we should be up and over 50 degrees, upper 50s for that afternoon high temperature, which is well below the 66-degree average high for this time of year. Enjoy a nice Friday night for football. Temperatures will drop into the 40s. As we go to the weekend, a chance for rain on Sunday, 62, that chance 30%. And notice a continued opportunity for rain early next week with temperatures warming back into the 70s for highs, even back into the 50s for overnight lows. I mentioned a little change in our very dry pattern. Kyle's going to talk about perhaps some beneficial rain. Kyle?
And Kevin, today was a start we certainly needed. It's been historic. 57 days in a row for Indianapolis, where we have had 1/10 of an inch or less in the gauge. And as we look back to September 1st, that's only added up to about 1/3 of an inch. So that means we still have a deficit of about 4 1/3 inches of rainfall. So no surprise here. The drought monitor across central Indiana released today has expanded that moderate drought, that area shaded in orange. Today, again, helping us out a little bit. As we look at the rain potential over the next 7 days, you notice there is some wet weather coming our way, but it's only going to add up to about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch for much of the Hoosier state. Again, that next chance for rain, Amanda, coming our way on Sunday.
Thanks, Kyle. You may have seen these aircrafts in the sky over central Indiana. All information, and maybe you're wondering, what are they doing up there? Our Brad Brown met the men flying those planes, and he's giving us an inside look at how they do it.
The machines are classic pieces of aviation history, meticulously restored and looking just as good as their first takeoff.
We call them sport biplanes. They're made for aerobatics. They do about 150 miles an hour, give or take, covered in fabric. They have wooden wings.
The men that fly these planes, they're all a little bit classic as well.
I soloed an aircraft before I was driving a car alone. I flew spray planes for a long time, for 22 years, crop dusting.
Got my first job at an airline in 1978 and spent 40 years flying commercial airliners around the world.
These pilots are part of the Indy Biplanes Club, flying out of Metro Airport. Far more than just a hobby, these guys are taking their passion for flight and paying it forward.
We started getting these feel-good stories from people on the Facebook site saying, you know, you flew over and it made my day, that kind of stuff, which surprised us because we're just out having fun. So we kind of started making that our mission.
Today's mission, a 5-plane formation flying over the Ironwood Golf Club, a fundraiser outing for NeuroHope, an organization that provides extended rehab for people with spinal cord injuries.
We said, look, this is the only fundraiser we're doing this year. We want to be safe, we want to be socially distant, but we can still do a golf outing in a safe way. And when you add elements like a flyover and those pilots, it's like that extra little bonus point to an event.
Now let's say you're given an invitation to fly along with this crew, sitting in on the pre-flight briefing and eventually climbing into the front seat for an exhilarating experience high in the sky over central Indiana.
They'll just do a little bit more than your average Cessna or your average Piper. They roll a little bit faster. They're a little bit more tricky to land and take off, but that's part of the challenge.
I had Monty manning the controls behind me. From more than 3,000 feet in the air, an up-close look at the amazing precision that these pilots possess to put those formation flights together.
We are upping our game continuously because pilots are always looking for a challenge. That's the reason we get in. One of the reasons we get into it is because you can never be the best. You can only be your best.
It's nothing but fun. Yeah, particularly for me, after spending 40 years of going straight and level and trying to keep people from being upset that I get to twist and turn in this thing now is a big benefit to me.
The biplanes took part in some Hope flights earlier this year, dedicated to first responders and healthcare workers during the pandemic.
It was just so tough for everybody, being stuck at home, nothing to do, they can't go out. And we got the idea, we're like, we can be people's entertainment and bring it to them.
A chance to spread a little love from high above during difficult times.
Both of my parents were very civic-minded and presented a very good model for my brother and sister and I that community service was important. So for me, being retired now, this is my first opportunity to give back.
Working for you in Fishers, Brad Brown, WRTV.
Very cool. Thanks, Brad, for that. And the group is entirely self-funded, and the flights are all for charity. For more info and to inquire about a flyover, search for Indy Biplanes on Facebook. We'll be right back. Thanks for making WRTV your choice for news. World News Tonight with David Muir is next, and we'll see you for the news at 7.